Welcome to Space Drift. Please subscribe to the channel. I bet you didn't know that a single fee could shatter the dreams of millions of travelers overnight. Meet Priya, a young software engineer from Bangalore, who's been saving for years to visit the United States. For as long as she can remember, Priya has dreamed of seeing the world beyond her city, of walking through bustling American streets, tasting new foods, and meeting people from all walks of life. Every rupee she set aside brought her a little closer to that dream. She's planned every detail. Her itinerary is packed with iconic sights, the Grand Canyon's breathtaking vistas, the neon lights of Times Square, and maybe even a visit to Silicon Valley, the heart of tech innovation. She's spent months researching, reading travel blogs, and watching videos to make sure she doesn't miss a thing. But before she can pack her bags, Priya faces the daunting US visa process. She fills out endless forms, gathers documents, and pays all the usual fees. Just when she thinks she's done, she's hit with a new, unexpected cost: the $250 visa integrity fee, a charge she hadn't budgeted for. For Priya, that's a huge sum, weeks of her food budget, added on top of flights, hotels, and all the other expenses she's already stretched to cover. Suddenly, her carefully planned trip feels out of reach. The fee is supposedly refundable, but no one can explain how or when. Embassy staff offer vague answers, and the official website is filled with confusing fine print. Priya is left in the dark, unsure if she'll ever see her money again. Her dream trip is suddenly in jeopardy, her budget blown apart by a last-minute charge. She spends sleepless nights recalculating her savings, wondering if she should cancel or keep hoping for a miracle. Priya's story isn't unique. Millions of travelers from countries like India, Brazil, and Nigeria now face this financial wall. For many, the excitement of travel is replaced by anxiety and frustration as they scramble to find extra funds. The message is clear: America is open, but only if you can pay the new cover charge. The dream of visiting the US is no longer just about adventure, it's about whether you can afford the price of entry. For many, the American dream is now simply too expensive. Plans are put on hold, suitcases remain unpacked, and dreams are deferred, sometimes indefinitely. The visa integrity fee has thrown travel plans into chaos, leaving travelers confused, disappointed, and uncertain about the future. And for Priya, and millions like her, it's just the beginning of a new set of barriers to their dreams. The visa integrity fee is a $250 charge now imposed on non-immigrant visa applicants from 33 countries, all singled out for having higher visa overstay rates. This fee is not optional. It's a mandatory cost for anyone from these nations hoping to visit the United States, whether for tourism, business, or to see family. For many, it's the first hurdle in a long and expensive process. This new charge comes on top of already steep visa application fees, which can total hundreds of dollars. The I-94 entry fee, for example, has recently quadrupled, making the process even more expensive. For many applicants, these costs add up quickly, turning what should be a hopeful journey into a financial challenge. The policy is part of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a sweeping legislative package that aims to deter visa overstays and generate funds for border security. Lawmakers claim it will raise $29 billion over the next decade, money earmarked for enforcement and infrastructure. But critics argue it's a blunt instrument, punishing the many for the actions of a few. The reality is that only about 1 to 2% of visitors from these countries actually overstay their visas. That means the other 98%, the vast majority who follow the rules, are now forced to pay for the small minority who don't. It's a collective penalty that many see as unfair and unnecessary. For families and students, these fees aren't just a minor inconvenience. They represent a real barrier, sometimes the difference between making the trip or staying home. For some, it means sacrificing savings, delaying plans, or giving up on dreams altogether. Take a family of 4 from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Before they even book their flights, they're facing $1,000 in extra fees just to apply for visas. For many middle-class families, that's a significant sum, enough to reconsider the trip entirely. For a student in Lagos, Nigeria, $250 could be the difference between studying in the US or missing out on a life-changing opportunity. It's not just a fee, it's a potential roadblock to education, career, and a brighter future. In effect, the visa integrity fee turns the American dream into a gated community, one where opportunity is visible, but increasingly out of reach for many around the world. As news of the fee spreads, the world is taking notice. For millions, the price of chasing the American dream just got a lot steeper, and the message is clear: opportunity now comes with a hefty price tag. The impact was immediate. Airlines saw bookings from affected countries drop 30 to 40% overnight. Major carriers slashed US-bound flights. Emirates cut 20% of its routes, United dropped flights from Brazil and India, and European airlines followed suit. Fewer flights mean emptier airports, less revenue for cities, and lost jobs for everyone from baggage handlers to baristas. Hotels and convention centers are seeing cancellations and shrinking event attendance. The hospitality industry, hoping for a strong season, now faces empty rooms and lost business. The visa integrity fee was meant to secure borders, but its first effect is keeping paying customers away. Every canceled flight is a missed opportunity for American workers. The ripple effect is real and growing. The skies are emptier, and so are America's welcome mats. The U.S. Travel Association warns of a staggering $7 billion loss in tourism revenue in just 6 months, a blow that ripples far beyond the travel industry itself. This isn't just a number on a balance sheet. It represents lost opportunities, shuttered businesses, and livelihoods put at risk across the country. International tourists are vital to the U.S. economy. They spend more per trip and stay longer than domestic travelers, injecting billions into local economies and supporting millions of American jobs in cities and small towns alike. Their spending powers hotels, restaurants, attractions, and countless small businesses that depend on a steady stream of visitors from abroad. When a family cancels their trip, it's not just airlines and hotels that lose out. It's taxi drivers waiting for fares, waiters hoping for tips, shopkeepers counting on foot traffic, and entire cities that feel the absence. The ripple effect is real, touching every corner of the tourism ecosystem. The new visa fee hikes increase the upfront cost of visiting the U.S. by a staggering 144% for many travelers. For families and students, this can mean the difference between booking a trip or staying home. Suddenly, the American dream vacation feels out of reach. Travel agencies are already seeing the impact. Clients are rerouting trips to Europe, Canada, and Asia, where entry is easier and more affordable. The U.S. is losing its competitive edge as a top global destination. Meanwhile, the same law that introduced the fee also slashed funding for Brand USA, the nation's tourism marketing arm, from $100 million to just $20 million. With less money to promote American destinations, attracting visitors becomes even harder. It's a baffling strategy. Raise barriers and cut promotion at the same time. Instead of welcoming the world, we're making it harder for them to come. The result? A self-inflicted wound on America's tourism industry, with empty attractions, struggling businesses, and lost jobs. The economic pain is measurable and entirely avoidable. With smarter policies, the U.S. could remain a magnet for global travelers. But right now, the world is choosing other destinations. Planes that once landed in New York or Los Angeles are now touching down in Paris, Toronto, and Tokyo. America's loss is everyone else's gain. As other countries welcome travelers with open arms, the U.S. risks falling further behind in the global tourism race. Officially, the visa integrity fee is refundable if travelers comply with their visa terms. In reality, there's no clear process for getting the money back. No forms, no website, no instructions. Immigration lawyers advise treating the fee as non-refundable. The government's track record on refunds is slow and complicated. The Congressional Budget Office doubts the refund system will work at scale. For travelers, the fee feels like a gamble with little chance of winning. The uncertainty turns a deposit into a sunk cost. Instead of encouraging compliance, the confusion just discourages travel. People are choosing destinations without bureaucratic hurdles. The promise of a refund is, for now, an empty one. The fee's impact goes beyond tourism. It's hitting U.S. universities hard. International students bring billions in tuition and enrich campuses with global perspectives. Now, applications from affected countries are dropping, threatening university budgets and diversity. Fewer students mean cuts to programs and services for everyone. The policy is seen abroad as discriminatory and hostile. India and Brazil have lodged formal protests, calling the fee unfair and targeted. Some countries are considering reciprocal fees for American travelers. The goodwill America built over decades is eroding fast. Travel is becoming a battleground, not a bridge. The policy is closing doors at home and encouraging others to do the same. The world is watching and responding. The new visa policy creates a two-tiered system. Travelers from 33 countries pay the $250 fee. Citizens of 42 visa waiver program countries, mostly wealthy Western nations, are exempt. A German tourist enters with ease, while a Brazilian faces extra costs and paperwork. The message: some visitors are trusted, Others must pay to prove their integrity. Even VWP travelers aren't immune. ESTA fees are set to double to $40. The cost of visiting America is rising for everyone, but the burden falls hardest on those from developing nations. This risks alienating the world's fastest-growing travel markets. Europe and Canada, with friendlier policies, are becoming more attractive. America is ceding ground to its competitors. The divide is widening, and so is the damage. The visa integrity fee isn't just about travel, it's about America's identity. For millions of workers, the $7 billion loss means real pain-loss jobs, reduced hours, and economic uncertainty. The timing couldn't be worse, with the US set to host the FIFA World Cup and its 250th anniversary. Slashing tourism budgets while raising barriers is self-sabotage. The policy forces a choice: remain open and welcoming, or become an isolated fortress. Critics call it a short-sighted cash grab that risks long-term prosperity and goodwill. The world is already walking away. America's welcome mat now comes with a price tag, and fewer are willing to pay.